Welcome back to the Strength and Speed Podcast. I'm your host, Evan Preparis, and joining me is Brenna Calvert. Say hi, Brenna.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be back again.
This week's episode is brought to you by Rock Tape. Rock Tape's one of the sponsors of the Conquer the Gauntlet Pro Team. They make some of that kinesiology tape you've been seeing on like Olympic athletes. Basically, it's helps stabilize you and helps protect against injury. They also make gloves and some other products on their website. Brenna, what are your thoughts on Rock Tape?
Oh, I actually like it. I've tried different brands of athletic tape, and Rock Tape, it's awesome. It's water resistant. People wear it for days at a time, but it's become more effective and used by athletes in every sport, from cycling and volleyball now to OCR. So it's definitely awesome. They have how-to step-by-step instructions on their website and included with all the rolls you get. So if you're not familiar with it, definitely check their website, research, and you can learn how to tape yourself and be ready for that competition.
And you can even use it if you're pregnant. I remember when Ashley was pregnant, she did like a belly taping video, which is pretty interesting. So.
Yes, we got that up on the website, the Conquer the Gauntlet Pro Team Facebook page. So check that out if you want to learn how to tape your belly.
Yeah. All right. So joining us today is Serra Langone. She's a mother of two, works full-time as a clinical director at a private school for kids with autism. Her recent race highlights include finishing first at Fit Challenge, a multi-lap course in Northeast. And then she also finished third at Sunday Spartan Sprint in Boston 2016 and fifth at Saturday Spartan Super Boston 2016. So, Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for you guys for having me. I'm super psyched to be here.
Cool. Well, we brought you on, one, just talk about your personal training, and then also talk about Fit Challenge, because we like to highlight some of the smaller series. So I guess let's just start it off with let's talk about Fit Challenge. Just kind of tell us about the course and maybe some of the signature obstacles, where it's located, stuff like that.
Yeah, perfect. So Fit has been run down at in Rhode Island, so Diamond Hill State Park in Rhode Island, for the past couple years, which is pretty good for me. I live outside Boston, and it's just about an hour away. So location-wise, it's perfect. Getting to the event, getting to the location is pretty easy. There's no bag check or anything like that, but your cars are literally right there, so it's nice. This year he switched up the course, which was pretty good. It actually made it a lot more challenging. It's just about 3.3 miles, and they do, just about 25 or so obstacles on the course. Most of the obstacles are your pretty standard ones. You have walls, barbed wire crawl, stuff like that. But they do have two that kind of stick out. One they call the Destroyer, which I'm not sure if you've ever seen any pictures of it, but essentially you got to kind of jump up to a pull-up bar, kip up, and then there's a flat wall with just some rock climbing handles, and maneuver yourself up and over the wall. So that can be pretty challenging. This year they actually added on the other side of it, once you came down, instead of just dropping down to the ground, there was half tires, and you had to balance across probably 5 or 6 half tires and then jump off.
I have a question about the Destroyer. I've heard that name before. Is that the same one? Did they use that at OCRWC maybe back in Ohio? Evan, do you recall? Is that the same Destroyer?
Yep, that's the same one. And there's also a version of it at Shell Hill in Benson, Vermont now.
Okay, awesome. Cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty fun one. There's one side where they have kind of a kick up where you can use your foot. And then the other side isn't. So elite males can only go on the side where there isn't the foot kick up. Everybody else can kind of use the other side, which makes it a little bit easier.
Is that the same for multi-lap as it is for just the single-lap competitive wave?
So they kind of split. So they have three different options. So they have the multi-lap, which goes off first, which actually this year sold out. I think there was like 260 of us who signed up for the multi-lap. And so multi-lappers can use either side of the destroyer, and they can use in the rig at the end. There's 3 or 4 lanes. You can use any lane that you want. The rule with the multi-lap is you have to attempt, really attempt every single obstacle. You can't just kind of touch it and bypass it. And there's a lot of people out on the course kind of making sure that happens. For the elite wave, which goes off right after all the multi-lappers, it's mandatory obstacle completion for both males and females. And the males have to use the non-kick-up side on the destroyer. The females can use the footholds. And then when you get to the rig, the elites have to go on the last lane, which is the more challenging lane each time. And then the open waves, and the open wave pretty much runs like, any other race as far as that goes. They can use any of the lanes. There can be assistance from other racers. If they can't, if somebody can't complete an obstacle or they don't feel safe, they can go around it in the open wave. So those are kind of the three options that FIT offers.
Very cool. This is all new to me, so I'm excited. Did you say this? You've done this multiple years, or is this your first time doing it this year?
It's my first time doing the multi-lap, but I've run the open at FIT and I've run in the elite wave at FIT. So I think the first time I did it was 2014, and he generally puts on 2 events a year. So there's usually one in April, which is the one that I just did, and then there's usually one in November. So as long as I'm around, I try to do it. It's a nice small local race. As far as pricing goes, it can't be beat. I think I might have paid $60 or $70, I think, for the multi-lap.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Explain the multi-laps. I mean, is it just, I'm familiar with like BFX and a few different things. Is there time cutoff? I mean, you're obviously going for the most laps, and then there's a time that you have to make your last lap start or something?
Yeah, so the multi-lap for this last one, we have 5 hours to start your last lap. So if you start at 7:30, then you have to be through the start for your last lap by basically 12:30. And you try to get, as many in as possible. They have a tent set up for the multi-lappers, so we could drop a bag, we could drop a cooler, literally right next to the start area. So you could finish, loop over to your bag, get whatever, nutrition you wanted. They also had a big table set up that had tons of like honey stinger products, and they had these jugs full of Tailwind and water and stuff, and that was all for multi-lappers too. And then you check in at the booth, which is right by the start line. You check in there with your bib number, and then you can continue on your next lap.
Sounds great.
After the second lap, the top 10 males and top 10 females get these, like the males were green and the females were yellow, but these bibs to put on that says lap leader, so that you can kind of be tracked throughout the course.
Oh, that's kind of nice. It helps you identify who's in front of you and who's your direct competition. Because I know at World's Toughest Mud, obviously a little bit longer an event, you'll be running and you'll have no idea just who's in what place. You can tell a little bit at World's Toughest when people put on like the 50-mile or the 75-mile bib, but you don't. It's not mandatory to put that on. So a lot of times you're running around that night or during the day and you're just very confused as far as who's actually your direct competition. So definitely like that about FIT Challenge. Is it FIT Challenge or FIT, or does that not matter?
He calls it FIT. So like when you are there and stuff like that, everybody just refers to it as the FIT.
Ah, okay.
So, and the bibs were also nice too because, as you're going through your second and your third lap, you have the elites that are out there, and you also have open waves that are out there. And so when you come to an obstacle, if there's like a jam up, if you, as soon as I showed up and I had the lap leader thing on, everybody just kind of moved and was like, here, go, 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 So you don't really have to, waste any of that valuable time waiting to get over a wall or waiting to get over the destroyer. So that was pretty neat too. And everybody there had, no problems with it. They were super, super supportive.
And I know when you finish the race, I know for the podium prizes, or maybe it's for everyone, they do different size blocks. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So yeah, that's for the multi-lap. And so if you do, 1 or 2 laps, you get a pin. And then if you get 3 or more laps, then you get a block of wood. And so it's actually pretty cool. The race director, Rob, makes all of them in his garage. So if you do 3, 4, 5, or 6 laps, you get kind of the block of wood that says fit. It has the number of stars, which equal the number of laps you did, and it also has the actual number on there. So that's pretty cool.
So how many laps did you get in with your win recently?
So I got 4 laps in. I missed the time cutoff for my 5th lap by 6 minutes. Yeah.
Like so close.
I was so close, but honestly, that if I had made it, I certainly would have done a 5th lap, but my body probably thanked me that I didn't.
So how does it work since you've run single lap? Is it like the elites? Or there's a different is there a payout and awards for the elites and the multi-lap?
Yeah, so there's no cash prizes at the FIT, but the elites have a different. The elites get awards for the top 3 male and female, and then the multi-lappers get awards for the top 3 male and female. So it's basically 2 separate races, 2 separate categories.
Very cool.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
So is this your first multi-lap OCR? Did you get to do any of the BFXs or anything like that?
No, I never did. There's not a ton of them around here, kind of, where I am. And so the FIT, I actually, it was kind of funny. I kind of went into it I'm just going to do this as a training run, because I signed up for, a beast that's actually this coming weekend. So I figured this would just be a good, training run for me. And so then I got out there and I was, moving pretty good. And I came across on my 2nd lap and they're like, oh, you're the first female. We don't even see another female back there on the course. So then I just kind of kept pushing it, and ended up with the win, which took me by surprise.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
thanks.
Evan,
how have you never done this one? Is this just never been in your schedule timing or what?
Yeah, so it's obviously I have to fly to it because it's in the Northeast. I've been tracking it for the last 2 years. I just haven't worked it into my schedule. Last year was all BFXs. This year it's a lot of Toughest Mothers and something else I have planned, which I haven't announced yet. And so the 2 weekends that I looked at, they just didn't work out for me based off my schedule. So.
Oh, it's such a bummer when that happens. We just want to do everything.
It's on the list though. It's on I'm going to try to hit some of the multi-lap OCRs that I haven't done in 2018. So I should be out there in 2018.
They're actually just expanded, and he's doing an event in August of this year in Connecticut at Powder Ridge, which is an actual ski resort. So where at, Diamond State Park, the elevation change was, I think, around 1,000, which, isn't bad for, just under a 3.5-mile course. But the one in August will be probably more than that. And you actually get 8 hours to run your laps instead of 5.
Oh, good, more time.
Yes, I'm still debating whether that's good or not, but I signed up and I took Monday off from work, so we'll see how that goes.
I think that's the best part. I like showing up to work and being crippled. I think it's like a badge of honor. You come in, you're walking all slowly.
Yeah, I usually get that question on Monday. Did you have a race or did you just do this to yourself running? And so they totally get me at work, so that's good.
Well, speaking of work and racing, I guess The biggest question people always ask, and I myself ask it because I don't have a full-time job. Well, I guess I do, but I don't have, like, set hours, or a family. So how do you balance racing and training and work and family?
4:30 in the morning is my friend. I get up real early, and I try to do most of my training before my girls even wake up. So, I'm up. If I'm doing a long run, it's a Saturday or a Sunday, and I'm up at 4:30, and I'm out of the house before 5, just trying to log the miles and get all that in. So it's not, easy, especially up here in the Northeast. It gets very chilly and very dark sometimes in the mornings. But I try to do that. And then my girls both play lacrosse, and so they have practice a couple times a week, which gives me about an hour and a half in the evening that I can work out while they're at lacrosse practice. So I'll run the track, or I'll do burpees, I'll do farmer's carries, I'll pretty much make a spectacle of myself while they are practicing lacrosse, just to try and fit it in so it doesn't disrupt too much of our home life.
I feel like that's going to be me when my daughter gets older, like doing laps around the field, or like just making a general scene. Because even now when I go to the gym, I feel like I'm making a big scene because I bring rig grips and I'll set them up either on the crossbeam of a pulley machine or like my gym has like a monkey bar set up in the corner, and people look at me like I'm absolutely crazy, So
that's what I think all of us. I mean, it's still such an unknown thing. So like when you go to LA Fitness or Gold's Gym or whatever gym you're going to, most people, if you I feel like us OCR silly people bring their own something unique to their workout, and I swear people still look at all of us like we're crazy. And I'm like, there's a lot of us out there doing this, I promise.
Yeah, there's I meet up with 2 guys I know and work out. It's just regular kind of mom and pop local gym, usually twice a week. And we get a lot of looks and a lot of questions, and, you just took the sandbag and ran around the parking lot. We're like, yeah, that just helps us with our carries. And a lot of kind of people shaking their heads and walking away, but I'm kind of used to it now. And I think the other lacrosse parents are kind of used to me now, carrying a bucket of rocks up and down the hill or doing farmer's carries with dumbbells around the track or whatnot.
That's what I was going to say to your daughters. Say, like, Mom, come on. People are talking about you.
I did get the, are you really going to wear that to my practice? But I think, some of the other parents will be like, oh, wow, that's great. You're kind of utilizing the time. And I don't think anybody makes fun of her for it. So I think I'm pretty good.
Hope so. They're probably thinking that's the cool mom, because that's pretty awesome. I would at least hope so, that my kid thinks it's cool with me.
Yeah. There was once I had to. My oldest is 9, so she had lacrosse practice, and my little one's 6, and she didn't have practice, so I had to bring her with me. So I rotated carrying her and then her other little friend around the track on my back just for extra training, and they got a kick out of it. So I kind of won them over with that workout.
It's good. It's good to use the resources you have available.
Yeah. Yep. And then as far as, traveling, I try to keep the races around the Northeast as much as possible, do as many as I can. When I'm away for the weekend, my husband has the kids, and they're troopers. And they, everybody kind of supports me in racing and training and stuff like that. So it makes it a little bit easier.
You're on the 2017 Strength and Speed Developmental Team. So I guess let's first, how did you hear about Strength and Speed, since we're on the Strength and Speed podcast?
I actually heard about it from Sam Oleski. I met her at some Spartan races around here running the Elite Heat, and we got to talking. She actually kind of told me about it. I looked up, the website, kind of looked up what, the thought process was and stuff like that. And then, she messaged me and said, hey, listen, the team's having kind of, an application process. I really like it. I've gotten a lot out of it. I think, you would really like it. You seem like you kind of have the same mindset. And so I, looked into it and thought it might, would be pretty beneficial for me. And so, put in an application and then, got selected and here I am now.
We're glad to have you.
Yeah, I was so excited.
Well, for those that, are listening to Strength and Speed podcast, maybe they haven't done their research and don't know that there's a developmental team. Tell everybody a little bit. I'm on it and part of it, obviously Evan is, but like for athletes or anybody listening, kind of what do you get out of it and what, does the team bring?
Yeah, for me, I really like it. I kind of like the group because one, it's just a lot of like-minded people. So it's people with, families who are racing, who have jobs, who are just, kind of doing the same thing as me and putting in the hours and putting in the training and really just trying to, perform at their peak. I think some of the benefits is the support and motivation. So if you post a workout or somebody else posts a workout, that keeps me motivated. That keeps me going kind of that extra mile when, it's 4 a.m. and it's 5 degrees outside and I don't want to get out of bed, but I saw so-and-so was doing whatever workout the day before. The other thing is, workouts get posted, and so that's always nice. I don't have a personal trainer. I don't have a formal coach. And so it's nice to kind of have somebody else post a workout that maybe I hadn't thought of or that might target some of, what I would consider my weaknesses. And so that's really nice too. And then just the resource of being able to post a question, ask something about nutrition, ask something about training or, how do I get better at X, Y, or Z? And then you have this whole wealth of information from people who are doing the same races as you, but just might have more experience in that type of stuff. And so that's what I'm really excited about is to be able to kind of post those questions or read posts of what other people are doing. And kind of pull that kind of into my arsenal so that, I can improve and get better.
That was actually a great explanation. I think you explained it better than I could have. I was like sitting here nodding like, yeah, this is awesome. This is a great idea. What a great idea I had.
Well, and that's what I love it. I feel like we're definitely, I'm part of it, but benefit from Evan, you being the leader, and you're awesome at like putting together teams of, like you said, like-minded people that, again, not everybody on the team is, like a known top placing, the best athlete and trains for this professionally, and that's all they do. Like, it's a bunch of people that have families and have lives happening, but still can come together and motivate and be accountable with one another. And, Evan putting together great workouts and just, like, putting together great people, it's awesome to have. So I love it, and I'm glad to have people like you with us. So it's great.
Yeah, it's nice. I pulled one of the workouts and then, was with a friend at the gym and said, oh, here, let's try this. And, on paper, it didn't look too bad, but man, we were lying on the floor at the end, which, I personally love. I love to completely exhaust myself. And so it was great. And it was, some maneuvers and some stuff that I don't always work in, on a weekly basis or anything. So having that kind of knowledge and base to pull from is I think just going to be huge for me, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I think you hit pretty much every reason I started the group. And then kind of the other reason was, I looked at some of the other forums of, there'd be all these different groups where they have 3,000 members in it or 1,000 plus members, and someone would ask a question and they would get 50 different answers, and a third of them would be good, a third of them would be okay, and then a third would be legitimately what I would consider bad advice. So I wanted to create a small group, and it's not meant to be I don't want 1,000 people in there. I'm not even sure how many we have now. I think 50 maybe, if that, 30, 40. I'm not sure. I got to check. But I wanted to create a small group so you could ask something and then be reasonably certain that you're getting sound advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have developmental team essentially application process that we do once a year where people can apply and then they get a lot of the benefits for free. So you get access to the group and you get some free merchandise and I get some some kind of bleed off extra prizes and sometimes race entries and stuff like that I pass out to the group when they become available, as long as the associated sponsor is okay with that. But then, for those of you who are listening and thinking, oh, well, I'd really like to be part of this group, but I missed the application window, essentially you can pay to access the group, and that's available on the Team Strength Speed website. So if you go there and go to the actual training plan, the actual online store, you can actually pay to become a group member, and then you get a lot of the same benefits as people who got them for free. So.
And that's exciting, too, because I feel like like you said, it's a really good group to be a part of for training, but to be selected, amazing, but to also have access to it to others. So it's not like we're very, no, we don't want you a part of it.
Right, and that's kind of the other reason I put, a payment option for people, because I don't want people just joining up because they're like, oh, I got nothing else going on, let me just join in. And then you get the runaway effect where, again, you have, several thousand people in the group, and again, we're back to the same problem I was before I created the group, which is you don't know the type of advice you're getting. So
very true.
We have ultra runners in there, pro female boxer or ex-pro female boxer, CrossFit athletes, people who specialize in World's Toughest Mudder, some people who do more short distance races. We get kind of a mix. Good chunk of the CTG Pro team is in there because, that's
we travel in pack.
Yeah,
we can't get enough of each other.
So, yeah.
Well, so what is this I hear about a photo shoot? I heard something about an OCR photo shoot, and I'm very intrigued and maybe jealous. I don't even know yet.
I know if you were in the Northeast, I could have grabbed you for it. I was looking for people.
Man.
So it's kind of funny. So, the Strength and Speed announcement came out that, I was going to be one of the athletes and with the write-up. And my brother-in-law, who does usually the open waves in a lot of these OCRs, but he, shared it on his Facebook page and was, basically just saying, hey, this is my sister-in-law, we're all pretty proud of her and stuff like that. And a girl he knows is a photographer, and she and somebody else are kind of working on this new fitness app, kind of like a new social networking fitness app called UFit. And they were looking for people who are just kind of living the life. They're not looking for the professional athletes who this is all they do, but they're looking for people who train and work and have a family, but who just kind of are really kind of entrenched in the sport. And so she contacted me and said, is there, do you have any interest in being in a photo shoot? And, we might use some of the pictures when we kind of present it to different funders and stuff. And so, of course, I was like, absolutely, I'll definitely do that. So did a photo shoot probably a month and a half ago. With some people in the area, and then she actually came down to the Fit and did a bunch of pictures down there, which was pretty cool.
Well, that's awesome. So are you able to tell us anything about, when do we get to see some of the pictures, or this app, is it still in the works and we have got to wait a while?
So, yeah, the app's in development right now. Like I said, it's called UFit, and I don't know a ton about it, but, from my understanding is it's going to be kind of a social networking app focused on fitness and focused on, obstacle course racing or cycling or CrossFit, kind of whatever your genre is. And it's just a way for people to kind of, connect around the world who have the same passion in fitness, and be able to connect and educate and challenge each other, and stuff. And as far as, when it's going to drop or anything like that, I don't know, but I think they're almost to the phase where they're going to need testers, which will be pretty cool and pretty exciting coming out. So
very exciting. Well, I'm excited to see some of your photos and stuff. I think that's always fun, getting to have an actual photo shoot with what we do, because I'm one of those people that my photos and races are never good, action shots. So to actually like have a photo shoot with a photographer focusing on you and you don't look like you're in pain or dying is kind of cool.
Yeah, she was great. You know, we had done the photo shoot around here at kind of a local gym. And then, I was like, oh yeah, we have a race in a couple weeks down in Rhode Island. She's like, oh, okay. And I tell you, I still saw her there on my third lap, taking pictures of different obstacles and whatnot. And so, I was able to post that she did some sneak peeks. I posted a couple of them on Facebook, but I think, the entire album had about 100 pictures of me just from that one race, which is pretty awesome.
That's exciting. Yeah. Totally jealous.
Yeah. I know. I had messaged Evan to be like, is anybody else around who might want to do this? Because it seems pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm actually from the Northeast. I'm from New York, but I got into obstacle course racing after I moved out of the Northeast. So I have one very good friend that races up there, and that's pretty much it. Everyone else is like, all my friends are mostly Midwest because that's where I lived when I got into it. So.
Well, so what else is in store? I mean, you say you try to stick around Northeast and home area, obviously, for traveling. Do you have any big events coming up or big plans, goals, and set for the rest of the year and the rest of the season?
Yeah, so, I try to stick around here as much as possible. I definitely think for 2017, I'm going to stick around here. I really want to work on just getting better at some of my weaknesses. I want to really work on my endurance, which I've definitely made improvements in. I really want to work on my grip stuff this season and really kind of fine-tune some of that skill stuff because I would like to travel a little bit more kind of come the 2008 season. I'll actually be, having a birthday next year that will pop me into the Masters category. And so I'd like to travel around a little bit more and see if I really kind of push myself what I can do as far as that goes. When I hit 40,
man, even more impressive.
Yeah, I'm not a spring chicken, but so for this year, I have a couple Spartan Beasts. I'm doing the other fit multi-lap. It's actually the first time that the Savage race is coming around here, so I'm going to give that a whirl in July, which I'm pretty excited about because I've heard a lot of great stuff about it. And there just hasn't been one in the area. So doing that, and then the Bone Frog always holds an event in May in Massachusetts, and that always is a good time and always is really challenging. So I'll be hitting that up. And then the fall's a little lighter for me. I'm kind of looking for maybe one or two more events if I can fit them in.
Very exciting. What about, fall being light? Have you planned for or thought about Canada and OCRWC, or is that not on your radar?
No, definitely thought about it. There was definitely kind of the home discussion of that. It's probably not going to happen this year. So hopefully next year I'll be able to do that. But this year, logistically, as far as, home stuff and work stuff goes, I probably won't be able to swing that, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they're still in the Western Hemisphere next year. Otherwise, it's going to get even more challenging. So.
Yeah, right.
I don't even want to think about the possibility of it not being, so let's just skip that.
Yeah, that would make it very tricky for me.
Well, Evan, you have anything else you want to add?
So, Sarah, do you mostly do Spartans? Would you consider that your specialty, or do you think you do a mix of everything? I know you said you're looking to do some new ones this coming year.
Yeah, I think my race calendar generally is Spartans, and it's pretty much because of convenience, because they have so many events that are within driving distance for me, and so I like doing some of the other ones just because the obstacles get changed up a little bit, the competition gets changed up, the rules get changed up, and it kind of keeps me on my toes and almost gets me out of my comfort zone. So, I like doing the Bone Frog. I'm psyched that the Savage race is coming around here. So, if any of those other races kind of come within driving distance, I'd love to be able to do them. But I'd say my race calendar is pretty stacked with Spartans because they're the most readily available to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I also do the Tough Mudder every year in Vermont, which is always fun. I usually try to run one lap, as fast as I can to get it out, and then a friend of mine will do a second lap, together just for fun to do kind of additional training that day.
Were you there last year in June?
I was.
Oh, okay. That's when I that's where I started my 7-day OCR America thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. I started on a Sunday, so I ran 2 laps that day. After we had to sweet talk the Tough Mudder headquarters into letting us back on the course. Sunday it's only open for a little bit, so we basically ran pretty fast in that first lap, and then they let us back on the course, and we ended up catching the last place guy before the first obstacle. So they were cool with it. But
so say careful, don't say that too loudly, or let Jimmy know that. You'll start a frenzy.
Yeah.
They knew what was going on because we publicized it on Mud Run Guide and stuff like that. So they were actually very understanding. It wasn't so yeah.
It's not like you were doing it every day or type of every event thing. This was a crazy thing you were doing.
Right, and it was raising money for charity. So they were being reasonable and helpful. So it was awesome.
Nice.
Love that.
Yeah, I was up there. We do it on Saturday, and it's actually there's kind of when I travel around, it's either me or there's kind of just a couple people that I'm with. But for the Tough Mudder every year, a bunch of people. There's usually 10 of us. My brother joins us every year. My brother-in-law, and so it's a lot of fun. So we ran that first lap as fast as we could, and then just kind of jumped in for the second training one, which was great and was a lot of fun. It was a beautiful day and fun course, so it was a good time.
Cool. Well, I think that kind of wraps up all the questions we had. Before we go, Sarah, anyone, people or companies or anything else you want to cover or you give a shout out to?
There's a couple guys who I kind of train with on a regular basis. One of them's my neighbor, Pete DeMore, who's great, keeps me motivated, always going down to Blue Hill Ski Resort with me and being crazy and running up and down the mountain at, really early times during the summer, which is great. I think that's about it. And then just the support of my girls and my husband and my family, which really make it so that I can train and make it so that I can, go away and race on weekends and not worry about anything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Brenna, what do you got?
I'm going to give my shout out to the people that have caused me pain and misery that I love right now. I have recently decided to get back to fully training and getting back to where I need to be, and I am currently in Tulsa experiencing Conquer Fitness to its fullest. I'm actually going to Conquer Fitness classes daily with Steve Mainprice is running those classes, and I'm very excited to say I hurt all over, and I'm very excited to see what comes of it. And who knew? I'm part of the Conquer the Gauntlet Pro Team and Build Crew, but Steve Mainprice is an awesome coach at Conquer Fitness. So if you're ever in the Tulsa area, whoever's listening, definitely check it out. It's a great gym, great location, and the people, it's motivation, getting back out there. I haven't been training lately, so having a whole group of people to cheer me on and watch me cry in agony the next day because I hurt. So thank you, Conquer Fitness.
Nice. And I'm going to give a shout-out to Mud Run Guide. There'll be an article coming out tomorrow, or it'll actually be a week old by the time this comes out, about the weird things that OCR people do. So I think it's pretty amusing. Margaret thinks it's pretty funny, so check that out. And then other than that, I have a couple of articles coming out about the Olympics, just kind of my thoughts on, I'm pro getting into the Olympics. I think there's some negative aspects and there's some things that people aren't necessarily considering. So some thought-provoking articles on the Olympics and kind of where the sport's going into the future. So definitely head over to Mud Run Guide and check those out. And that's about it. That's all I got. Sarah, thanks again for coming on the show. It's a pleasure talking to you. And hopefully I will actually get to meet you in person at one of these races sometime this year.
That would be awesome. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. It's been awesome.